Now, crowds have been gathering in cities across the world, turning May Day into a day of protest against the global economic slowdown. In Europe, hundreds of thousands of people are urging their leaders to stop spending cuts and find another way to deal with the crisis. Our reporters have been at the rallies across the continent.
Here in Athens, the trade unions have organised a march through the centre of the Greek capital. Of course, it's traditional that they would come out on May Day, but the context this year is particularly dramatic. The Greek economy is continuing to shrink, to contract for the 5th year in a row. So it's no surprise that these people are talking about a rejection of austerity measures. They reject the policies of their government and policies which they believe are being imposed on this country by European partners.
May Day in Spain, a traditional gathering point. Here in Madrid, one of 80 rallies taking place across the whole of the country. A country which is gripped by economic crisis at the moment. Nearly 25% of the population without jobs, 50% of young people currently unemployed. And the government in a crisis as well. They want to make $36 billion of cuts. That's central government, and the 17 administrative areas around the country want to make an additional $13 billion of cuts as well. The unions out here to protest against that, but the unions themselves have problems. They are suffering from a crisis of credibility. Low numbers. We have thousands here, several thousands, but perhaps not the big mass rally that one might expect given the economic backdrop. And so both the government and the unions fighting to get their message across.
Here in Berlin, there is a joyous atmosphere at the May Day celebrations, but workers do have a lot to be happy about. Unemployment is at a record low. The public sector workers just got a 6% pay rise recently. Now, the metal workers are hopeful they'll get a pay rise of 6% as well. Something not just to make them happy, but something that could have happy consequences in some of the ailing countries of the Eurozone. The reason why? Pay rises here will introduce some inflation into Germany and help correct the balance of payments and trade imbalances that are at the heart of the Eurozone crisis.
There are no protests on the streets of Moscow. Instead, it's the annual May Day rally with the workers of the country. The protest movement decided to cancel their planned protests here, and instead they're going to have them on the eve of the inauguration. And the two men at the front of this rally, President Dmitry Medvedev and Prime Minister Vladimir Putin, will effectively swap jobs. The question among these people is, will they notice the difference?